What's up, everybody? Let's hit everybody with that awesome video intro here. Once I remember how to do it, and be right back. All right. It is 12:55 p.m. on my end. I'm going to jump in this draft at 1 p.m. Eastern time, give people some time to trickle in. We actually got a thumbnail today. I hit up my boy who does graphic design. He helped me out. So made it look a little bit more professional. And yeah, I mean, really encouraged by people tuning into the streams. Thank you all who are watching this with me. And excited to rip another BestBall Mania 3 draft. I ripped one draft last night, and this is going to be my 92nd draft. And that is my birth year, 1992. So I think it's going to be a lucky one, you know. Gotta search for those patterns where there's no patterns to be there. A reminder that this show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. If you're not up on Underdog, I don't know what you're doing. I'm assuming everyone watching my channel is, but with Underdog, a sponsor of the show, we have a promo code ChessLiam. You'll get a deposit match up to $100 on the site. If you're enjoying this, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I have to check my YouTube channel because I'm not even sure how many subscribers we have, but it's something real encouraging for me. I think we're up to 343. So let's update that. This thing that goes on the bottom here, that scrolls on the bottom, it doesn't update live. I have to update that if you're curious. But thanks, guys. If you are, turned my video on my screen, so gotta close that out. And yeah, we're just hanging out here for 3 minutes or so. Going to Vegas this week to play in the World Series of Poker main event. If you're watching this, drop a comment there, like the video, subscribe it. I'm going to produce some long form videos, which is kind of going over what I did last year, just looking at my team. So in Vegas, you can't do BestBall Mania drafts. And going to drop a schedule of some streams I have planned. I'm going to have some fun guests on the channel. Going to do some solo streams. Going to have some guests on. Broward says, I want to join the same BBM with you. 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to jump in that lobby. Grant says, what is the most common mistake you see other sharp drafters making? Wow, Grant, good question. I'm not sure if it's the most common, but I made an old tweet a while ago where I think we as fantasy players and other sharp people, we kind of fall in this groove of wanting to draft high advance rate players. And that's not necessarily what's going to make you the most money in these playoff format contests. So we should be mixing in some players we think will be low advance rate, because getting low owned players to the playoffs, to the finals, is worth a lot of EV for your teams. Okay, so it is 12:59. Let's share our screen here and let's jump in the lobby. We're going to jump a little bit early. We are waiting for 5 more people. We've had a string of later draft picks on this channel. But let's see what happens. We'd love to get one of the top picks to mix things up. And no, that's not happening. We are the 12th pick. Let's see who's in this channel with us, or in this draft with us. And let's extend this draft board making it a little bit smaller, but so we can see my picks. Casey Brown, we see him a lot. Fresh picks. And some other badges. If you're in this draft with me, let me know in the comments. And yeah, another late pick. Austin, what's up, man? In the 9 slot. Good luck to you. Paul in the 11th. Good luck to you. Jim Goober. I like that name. Adam's in here, the 3 slot. He's thanks Obama. Jason, fresh checking in. What's up? So he's the 4th pick. So yeah, I mean, definitely bleeding EV for me to share some thoughts I think can help us win, and B, to draft with such other sharp people. But we're here to make content. We're breaking into the content streets. I'm having fun with it. And yeah, real encouraged. Would love to get to 1,000 subscribers in the month of June or early July. We'll see how that I'm not sure how much of a break from live streams I'm going to have to make, but hopefully I can make up for it with long form content. And hopefully we can up the production. We can up. Casey said, didn't even know you were streaming. Was just trying to sneak in a square run. Good luck with that, Casey. Yeah, I mean, I won't be doing every single BestBall Mania 3 team I have left on stream, but I'll be trying to do most of them because, okay, so I'm seeing this as a wide receiver heavy room. Maybe we'll zig where others zag. Well, I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee, so we are hyped already. So some falling value here. I love it. Let's start with, I don't have a ton of Dalvin Cook yet, and I'm trying to get a little bit more Kelsey. So we'll do the Cook Kelsey start. Pretty happy with that. And gives us some flexibility for the 3rd, 4th round. Why I personally don't love the later picks this year. I mean, I did earlier when some of the players were cheaper, people like Mike Williams. But why I've not been loving this range is because it's really like who you get with your 4th pick versus who I don't have a problem with these 2 players. I don't even really have a problem here. It's just like sometimes with your 37th pick, you're choosing between like Jalen Waddle and Deontay Johnson. And it's like, yeah, I like those guys' talents a lot, but we have major questions about target competition, the offenses. Tyler asks, yeah, and guys, any questions you have, please ask. I try to be honest with my answers. You prefer taking one of the elite tight ends over waiting? I seem to try to always have one by Knox. Tyler, I do a mix of everything. Tight end is just such a high variance position where sometimes I'll purely punt tight end off and end with 3 late. Sometimes I'll grab an elite guy, but I mean, Travis Kelce, yes, he's old, but there's just a lot of vacated targets there. One possible scenario for the Chiefs is that no one really gains the trust of Patrick Mahomes, or if the Chiefs are fighting for a playoff position late in the season, I could see them having to need to rely on Kelce. And I don't know. It's just I try to have decent exposure to every tight end who I think can have a big game. Because basically the way I think about it is if a tight end does have a monster performance, say a 30-point week, a 40-point week, in the playoff weeks, like especially week 17, if you don't have that player, it's just you can't make up the points. So I try to have some exposure to all the elite tight ends. Wow. So we got Tom Brady going in the 3. Broward says Brady first quarterback. All right, this guy's getting different. It doesn't have any Tampa Bay guys, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the 1 hole, see what they're doing, and what that's going to do is it's going to push down someone. Hey guys, you never know. Tom Brady, yeah. You'll see some weird stuff sometimes in these drafts. Not usually on Underdog, but who knows? Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We're somehow at 30 live viewers. Again, I'm not giving people a lot of time. I don't have my schedule down fully. I'm trying to look at some other friends of the channels, make sure I'm not competing with them. And let's see who is going to make it back to me. See what Jim Goober does. Sometimes I don't show the players when it's coming up on my pick because I don't even want anyone watching the stream to look at the players. Okay, one was Sutton. So we're gonna grab Marquise Brown. I like him a lot. And let's grab a brand guy. We're grabbing Gabe Davis. I don't care that. Basically, Gabe Davis used to go here. So it's basically like I'm giving up a 4th round pick, but I don't care. There's been some positive buzz about him. I love him. 101 must be following Sal on Twitter. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm assuming he hyped up Brady. And yeah, so we're going, we got our anchor tight end and anchor running back and our wide receivers. And guys, sometimes I've noticed reviewing my streams, I'm grinding the tape, my past tape, but sometimes I notice that once it becomes my pick, I forget a thought. So I'm ADHD over here. If I trail off answering a question, just remind me in the chat. John asks, if you had to prioritize one, would you prefer an elite tight end or quarterback? Wow, that's a good question, John. Honestly, I like both, but if I had to take one, I guess I would take the tight end. Basically, an elite tight end can separate more from just the guys more than an elite quarterback can, but elite quarterback is important for Underdog. Eric says Pitt's a bargain at 41. Yeah, he was going here earlier in the season. Vetri posted a thread on Brady yesterday. Yeah, I've not. Last year I had 0 Brady. I've been taking him this year, trying to get rid of my biases against him as a Bills fan. Let's see what SS Stenberg does. I could see them going Chris Godwin here. And you never know. Like sometimes Brady could have just been a guy he threw in his queue, and then he got distracted and he got autoed it. Sometimes people do that where they throw players in their queue to remind them later in the draft. I don't do that. Broward asks, at the 7 spot, would you go for a wide receiver or a running back? Are you asking like what I would do with this guy's draft or just what I would do when I'm the 7 spot? Okay, so he goes Josh Jacobs. Pretty fine there. And yeah, to circle back on Dalvin Cook, I don't have a ton of him this year, but last year I had a ton. So again, not trying to abandon our priors. Okay, goes George Kittle over Darren Waller, which I don't hate that pick at all. Probably didn't want to grab both the Las Vegas guys. So yeah, I got no problem. I mean, yes, this is probably bad in a vacuum, but it's kind of like fading all of these guys, which if everyone gets hurt or injured, could work out. It's not a bet I would want to make. Broward's asking mine. Sorry, Broward. I don't want to give live coaching in a draft room that's trying to beat me. So I won't answer questions like, hey, I'm in the 3rd slot. What would you do if you were me right now? I'm not trying to help you beat me in these drafts. But I will answer strategy questions, player takes, etc. Okay, so Lamar went to fresh picks. Makes sense. Just scanning, seeing some starts people have. Notice Casey's going 0 running back. So is Thanks. And then some robust running back teams as well with 3 teams already having 3 running backs, and I got a pretty balanced start here, which really lets me do whatever I want. We'll see what I think that name is Julio does. Probably says he took Henry anyways. Grant's lolling. I don't know what he's lolling at, but I'm sure there's plenty of things that I've said that are funny to laugh at. Okay, so we're going to grab Kyler. And let's just check these ADPs. This is pick 61. It's pretty tempting to grab Montgomery there. It's just like Bateman too. Definitely grabbing Kyler. And then it's between these top 3 guys for me. Bateman, I like the talent a lot. The offense. I mean, I think Baltimore's going to sign another guy, so I think we're going to go Bateman. I mean, I really like Montgomery's matchup against the Lions week 17. And J.K. Dobbins, I love the talent profile too. So it kind of feels bad to me going Bateman over Dobbins, but whatever. I don't have enough of him. As it stands right now, he's the second target in his offense. And it's not inconceivable he overtakes Andrews. And we have this we got no wide receivers in the first 2 rounds, and then we have 3 by round 6. We made a detour for our elite quarterback. So setting us up with a real balanced build where we're filling our roster spots except for our second running back right now, and our flex has remained open. And yeah, it's giving some in this particular room. I guess it's giving a little bit of value on these Montgomery and J.K. Dobbins to these 0 running back teams. So that does hurt me a little bit, but I like the start. And yeah, I mean, we're just going to go more volume at running back. Adam asks, are you selling any of your main event action? Good question, Adam. So I sold 1%, aka $100 of the 10K to my tax dude. And I've offered, I will sell at max 10%, so 1K of the action. And I've just basically offered it to my friends. I'm like, hey guys, if you want 0 markup sweat, send me $100. I'll book you for 1%. Basically, the way that works out is like if first prize is 8 mil in the main event and I somehow sun run it, that's the plan. They would get 80K off $100. So, I'm not selling it because I need to sell the action or I want to. It's more just to give my friends a sweat. And love my tax dude. He's the DFS guy on Twitter. If you ever need a tax guy for your NFTs or your gambling reasons, highly recommend him. You can hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter is Chessliam if somehow someone's only finding me from the YouTube side. Let's see what other questions we got here. Nick says, that's a good value too. I'll often go Lamar Bateman at the 4-5 turn. So 6-1 for a guy who is primed to be breakout feels good. Yeah, I agree there, Nick. Grant says, I'm enjoying the streams. I think I've watched all your content except for 1 hour from the anniversary stream. Thanks, Liam. Thanks, Grant. Really appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, what a way to launch the channel, right? Me just ripping a draft-a-thon. That video's up to 2K views. Really appreciate that. And if you guys are watching this not live, drop some questions in the YouTube chat. I look back at my old videos. I answer them. Paul asks, were you not a fan of stacking Kelsey with Mahomes or want to go something different at 3-4 turn? No, I got no problem taking Mahomes at 3-4, but if you're talking about the 2v2 of going Mahomes over Davis and then Bateman plus Elijah Moore, or having Davis plus Bateman plus Murray, with me having Marquise Brown, it means I didn't need to grab Mahomes, but I could hope to grab Murray in the 5-6. And as far as the elite quarterbacks, obviously grabbing Murray versus Mahomes a full round later is going to help me advance. But as far as winning the money in week 17, we should be mixing in some Mahomes, some Herbert, some Josh Allen, even at these expensive prices. Because if we are able to advance our team and the player is a bad advance rate, obviously these quarterbacks can go for 40 points any day of the week. Good question, Paul. And yeah, I mean, like looking at Jim Goober's team, like he was not incentivized to grab Mahomes because he doesn't have Kelsey. So sometimes Mahomes will make it back to you, not always. But of course, he grabbed Juju here. Makes a lot of sense. And all of the stacking options are cheap, so you can grab a Mahomes with none of the cheap pass catchers and try to get one of the other dudes late. So we'll see what makes it back to us. With this type of start, we can grab whoever we want. We can double tap quarterback. We can keep on the wide receiver train. We can grab our running back too. And let's see what some of the. So Mike Gesicki, that is unusual. So I mean, Stenberg either has his own rankings and he just like is drafting off his rankings, not caring about ADP, which some people do, or he's trying to mix it up and get a different contexture team, which is plus EV in these playoff formats, as long as you can advance. So let's see who makes it to us here. We'll be quiet while Jim Goober picks. Okay. Then we're going to grab Sanders as our running back 2. I like Sanders quite a bit. And I could go Pollard. I could go Kirk. I could go Lance. But at pick 85, I think we're going to grab Wilson. I don't think I have a Murray Wilson. This is a minus advance rate move. But the idea is we have Denver, we have Travis Kelce, so they play week 17. And then we're going to hopefully get some of Russell Wilson's cheap stacking options late. And if not, who cares? So who took Cortland Sutton? Maybe Jim Goober was setting up the Sutton. Probably not with him having the Mahomes stack. So he's going cheap. Broncos 2. And yeah, I mean, so we got 2 elite quarterbacks. Honestly, I do think Trey Lance will outscore Russell Wilson and has higher spike weeks, but who cares? Got it. At the elite quarterback position, it's about getting different combinations there. Keep the questions coming, guys. Somehow we're at 50 viewers here, so I guess my new thumbnail is helping me out. And also, I was doing some weekend streams. I think the week streams are a little bit better. I try to get, I used to have a work from home job. If you have a work from home job, I'll try to give you some content that helps that. And if you have a requested draft time, if enough of you request a time, like, hey, like 11 a.m. really works for me or whatever, I'll try to make it happen. Broward says Chubb has been slipping down late third. Yeah, he does sometimes. He went early third, though. That's usually where he goes. So we don't have our flex filled, but we have most of our roster filled other than that. Makes sense. He grabbed more here, continuing on his Mahomes Broncos stack for week 17. OXD3960B asks, is Gabe Davis one of your highest exposures? Yes, he is. And honestly, like the plan was, since I was getting so much of him cheap, to pump off the brakes, and that's probably what I should be doing for my portfolio, but whatever. I view these 2 players similarly, personally, Marquise Brown and Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis's floor could be lower than most, but And it's obviously pretty risky going high exposure at such an expensive ADP, but YOLO, baby. It's kind of a brand play for me at this point, and love the offense, like the talent. Do you think it's fine to stop at 2 quarterbacks on DK if I'm drafting one of the elite guys and Lance? I think Lance is an elite guy, so yes, I would be stopping at 2 there. But you can get weird. You can add a third quarterback. It's obviously 20 roster spots on DK. Make sure you smash that subscribe button if you're enjoying this content. And like the video. I think I'm no wizard of the YouTube algorithm, but I believe that likes are really important and comments as well. So appreciate the comments, guys. And yeah, let's see how this draft goes. Wilson's an interesting one too, because who knows what the Broncos are going to do. Nathaniel Hackett is the head coach there. I'm familiar with him from his days as the Bills OC back in the Doug Marrone era. And he was also the Packers guy. And, he's kind of had these like run heavy offenses in the past, but there's been some rumblings. Wilson wants to throw more. I think he's still elite. I'm not too worried about that finger injury last year. Matt says setting up the hashtag contrarian Trey McBride plus Dolch's late tight end build. Love it, man. KZ says, have you dabbled with OJ Howard as a Bills truther? I have a couple shares, and if Knox goes down, which tight end is a high injured position, he's set up to smash. But the reports have not the little reports we've gotten him have not been too glowing, and yeah. Okay. Take a break here to make my picks. It's so close between these two dudes. We're going to grab Woods. And we're going to reach for Tim Patrick here. Because I'm not going to get him on the wraparound, and I want to get pieces of the Denver offense. So making a bad pick kind of in a vacuum here. We're just saying whatever. And also the Buffalo guys at running back, they don't really fit my running back in texture with all these week 7 buys. And we got we are at least stacked up for this Denver Chiefs game. And like there was even if Tim Patrick slid, there's no chance he's getting past Jim Goober, I would think, with him having this Chiefs Broncos stack set up. So whatever, we're making a bet that like Patrick is a bit better than like Claypool, Boyd, Watson. And really he just fits our team. So don't mind it. Robert Woods, he's a guy who you guys may hear some sounds in the background there. We got our lawn dude with his leaf blower outside the window. So sorry if that's getting picked up. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Set up the draft board for you guys. Paul says we're both correlating the Chiefs-Broncos game. Yeah. Well, I'm okay being thin at it. And I think if MVS made it here, I'm guessing Jim would have gone all in, but who knows? OX and a bunch of numbers asks, think Zach Moss has any life left as the goal line back? Yeah, I'm not Zach Moss is probably a situation we probably shouldn't be leaving him for dead. All the time, players have like these weird injuries and then they show life again. Like that happened to Singletary. the year prior where people were out on Singletary, and then he made it back. And yeah, so I think you should dabble in a little bit. Like, you don't need to get crazy with these players that are just not getting drafted. Like 3% of your teams, if you're drafting 150 and you're way over the field, if the field has 0%. An example is last year is like I was drafting Anthony McFarland on some teams, and like I had a team make the playoffs with Anthony McFarland. And, Anthony McFarland was drafted on something like, I don't know, something really low, like 100 teams or less in the whole contest. And obviously he didn't work out, but if Najee Harris went down, I, and what's sick is I don't even think he's the running back 2 in Pitt. So like, it's Benny Snell. Mike says Zach Moss is going to be inactive most weeks. Yeah, maybe not, Matt asks, you like Isaiah McKenzie late on these Gabe builds? I got no problem with McKenzie. I've been drafting him somewhat. There's been some positive buzz on him too. Real athletic dude. The contract, like the Bills just get like, he keeps resigning for like close to the vet min. I think he got like $2 million a year. So we have a 2-2-5-1 going right now. And a couple guys left who I like and fit my team. And we'll see what Jim Goober does here. Irv Smith, wow. Okay, so we're gonna grab Jarvis. He was way cheaper earlier in the season, but whatever. And then Alexander Madison, with us having Cook, we're not going to do that. So we'll grab Rojo, gets us a different bye week, continues on the Chief Broncos game, and is a bet that hopefully he, like looking at his like rushing attempts, he had 200 the year before and smashed. He had 100 last year, didn't go so hot. I just think back to that like two years ago, or 2 years ago when he like housed that run against the Panthers. Give me it. It fits our correlations, fits our team. We're hoping to capture a lot of the Chiefs' touchdowns with us having Kelsey and Rojo. And we're going to have to just go volume at actually, we don't have to go volume at running back. We could kind of stop. William asks, do you like handcuffs in best ball? So I've said for a long time, here's the main thought of a handcuff is, say you take CMC and his backup, so Deontay Foreman this year. The hope is that CMC is either a super high advance rate player and then gets hurt for the playoffs, and Foreman does well, and therefore he's low owned. Or the hope is that like they ping pong off each other in the playoff weeks, but or the hope is that CMC gets hurt week like 1 or 2. He's super low advance rate. Deontay Foreman smashes. Then CMC comes back healthy, and you snuck in a low owned CMC into the playoff weeks, which would obviously be massively EV. And so it's not something I do on a lot of my teams, but something like 5%, 7% of my portfolio, I'll sprinkle in some handcuffs, especially if they're later in cost. What are my thoughts on Shakir? I know there are 2 kind of dusty players ahead of him. I don't know. We're really just going to have to wait for the camp reports on Shakir versus Crowder versus McKenzie, but I have a little bit of him. Would you jump a tier to meet correlation? Not usually, but you can see I kind of did it with Tim Patrick, where I took Tim Patrick 109, where his ADP was in this like 10th, 11. So I didn't jump too much, just like half a round or so. think Hayden Winks had some data that said 40% of the teams in the playoffs had running backs on the same team. Yeah, I mean, again, with this historical data, it's good to know it, but I would think through what data we think is actually predictive and should happen every year, and what data just happened last year and therefore is not predictive of what's going to happen in this season. And a lot of people miss that mark with historical data where they look at this historical data and they go, okay, I know what to do this year. No, wrong. The draft landscape's different. What's going to happen in the NFL is different. So last year, a ton of early running backs injured. If that doesn't happen this year, that's not going to be the same case this year. Austin says thoughts on the Patriots pass catchers. I've been grabbing a lot of dudes. I don't have a ton of Jacoby Myers because he's expensive. I don't have a ton of Devontae Parker because he's expensive. I'm trying to get a little bit more on those dudes, but got a lot of Kendrick Bourne, got some Tyquan Thornton, got a lot of Hunter Henry, just with the hope that they can make a jump. Eric says, as far as streaming goes, noon during the week is a good time. People can watch over lunch hour. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I could also see myself working some morning streams. Gonna try to do what's good for my mental health too. Nick says, I'm actually most likely to fade historical data. Yeah. I think people apply historical data pretty poorly sometimes for their teams. So let's see what happens here. Who makes it back to us? We are at picks 156 and 157. Always good to keep that in mind when looking at the players available. So I could go Algier and Williams, and that's kind of a double week 17 correlation there. I could grab Alec Pierce, who I have a lot of. We'll grab Algier, who I don't have a ton of. I know other people are pretty on it, but correlates with our Arizona game, even though we're expecting Atlanta to be pretty terrible. And I don't want to grab Gainwell with us having Sanders. So Darrell Williams' price is getting pretty up there. I have a lot cheaper, but the hope is that James Conner goes down, and he caught 50 balls last year. So we got another stack with Kyler Murray, kind of more of like a sneakier stack. So we have 4 pieces for this Arizona Atlanta game. And personally, like, that is a game where I don't really care if I have an Atlanta bring back. But because I think Arizona is just going to like beat up on the Falcons. But whatever, you can never have too many handcuff running backs, and hopefully you should have some standalone value. Regarding Williams, like, I have quite a bit of him, but would it really shock me if Eno Benjamin or Keontae Ingram is the guy in Arizona if James Conner goes down? No. Darrell Williams is pretty old, so. Daniel says, keep killing it, bro. Thanks, man. What are your favorite cheap Week 17 game stacks? Jacksonville, Houston, I like. Chicago Lions, you can get some of those. Who are the other cheap ones I like? Jets, Seahawks, you can get some late pieces. I don't know. I really just kind of let the draft fall to me. Yeah, Broward points out that Eno is getting praised for second running back. Yeah, I've seen those reports too. He's just small as a player, so we've seen time and time again that it's hard for these small players to become bell cows, even if the starter goes down. And with me having Williams as a 14th round pick, nothing stopping me from taking Eno as an 18th round pick if I wanted to like handcuff the backup running back in Arizona if Connor goes down, which I'll do sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. You can get Brian Edwards last round. Should be wide receiver 2 versus Zacchaeus Alameda. Yeah, that's a possibility. Falcons are a dark horse to sign someone like a Will Fuller too if he has no market. Matt says, you have any teams in your BBM3 portfolio with 6 players on the same team? Seems to be a lot of debate about max single team stack size. I'm capping at 4 now. Honestly, I don't think about it while I'm drafting. Yeah, I get why in theory you wouldn't want to have too many players from the same team, but if the offense is good and the cost is cheap, I'll go pretty heavy, but not often, just usually doesn't work out that way. So like last year, I had a lot of the Bills and Arizona guys who were cheap, and I didn't care if I had the expensive pieces to go around with it. So we have a 2-5-6-1 going on, where we're done at quarterback, and we are going to look to add at least one more tight end. Again, we could add 2 more tight ends if we felt like it. And we can either go running back or wide receiver, depending whose cost I like for this next pick. See what Jim Goober does. Jason says, I'm begging the chat to not snipe Goff. Maybe I should do it. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so we're gonna grab Fuller. I don't have as much of him on underdog, and I like him in the vacuum. I'm just ready to go down with the ship with Fuller. If he doesn't sign, if he retires, so be it. And then tight end, like it's kind of done after here, so I should be grabbing either Higbee, Ingram, or Hurst. Taking a peek there. I like Wandale too. I guess we'll side with the market in the cost for Higbee. Doesn't feel great with them having the other guys there, but whatever. We'll grab Higbee as our tight end too, and if he's not even healthy to start the season, shouldn't impact our roster too much with us having Travis Kelce. Like with Kelce, you can go one tight end if you really want to. You don't need to force it to get that weird, but I'll probably have some teams like that. And so we have a 2-5-7-2. We got 2 picks left to make. Looking at my team, probably go one more running back, one more wide receiver, but we could go double wide receiver if we wanted. Because we're kind of counting on Cook to be almost every week in our starting lineup. We're counting on Sanders to be a lot of the weeks. He's like the cheap starter here. And then some guys who could mix in or become the starters in their offense in Rojo, Algier, and Williams. We got our rookie on our team in Algier. We have some week 17 correlation in the Arizona-Atlanta game, in the Denver Chiefs game. And we got a little bit different of a contexture on our team with Tim Patrick being more us taking him around, about 10 picks above his ADP, getting a little bit different there, getting a little bit of a discount on Landry, so getting him a little bit cheaper from what he's normally going at. Mike asks, what do you think of Mo Alley Cox? I'm not sure. Like, if I knew he was a starting tight end, I would be taking more of him, but I'm not convinced he is. They drafted this rookie, Jelani Woods, who's an athletic freak. They drafted the guy last year, Kyle Grantham or something, who could compete. Tight end's really never been a huge position in the Colts offense, and it's not like Matt Ryan and Hayden Hurst lit up the field either last year. I guess he did have Kyle Pitts though, so it's not really fair. So I'm not sure. Like, I'm gonna wait for camp reports on him and just take stabs on guys I'm more confident. What are your thoughts on Wandale Robinson? I don't know if it's Wandale or Wandale. I'm gonna say Wandale. Um, he's a rookie, expensive draft capital. I have some of him. He's getting up there in price. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's not McKinnon would have fit our team too, by the way. There's not a like it's just who's going to be the pass catchers in the Giants offense. Is that offense going to be good? Because if they're not good, it's hard to support Kenny Galladay, um, Kadarius Toney, who we saw was really talented, and him. So he also plays the slot, and I saw some like advanced stats where slot wide receivers versus the Colts, who they play week 17, is a bad bet usually. Like, use the outside wide receivers is who you want against the Colts. And yeah, that's getting real in the weeds, nitty gritty. If you think about it, with trying to like project slot corners week 17. But hey, it's a little thing to keep in the back of the mind. Am I planning to max out on your BBM drafts? Of course I'm going to max the contest. Yes. Okay. So let's grab John Mechie. It gives us a rookie, and we're getting a bit of a discount from where he usually goes. By the way, a bunch of news just dropped from camp reports, so something to keep in mind. And then at running back, I think we'll grab Chris Evans. It's just a hope that he's the running back too. It gives us the Gabe Davis versus Chris Evans correlation for week 17. And we saw that Joe Mixon doesn't really play pass downs with the Bengals. And so it's a hope that Chris Evans, an athletic freak who was a rookie last year, can beat out Samaje Perine. So like how this team turned out, especially with us drafting from the 12 hole. It's pretty nice when Kelsey falls to you in the 12 hole. Yeah, Matt saying winning $1 million and then not maxing the next year would just be a huge FU to underdog. Yeah, and also, yeah, I mean, there's no shot I wasn't maxing this contest. I'm already this is my 92nd draft, my birth year draft. Probably my favorite team I built on stream so far. Got some guys I like a lot, and Marquise Brown and Gabe Davis. We went double elite quarterback again. We got one elite tight end with a tight end and a good offense. We got a good mix of wide receivers, of young guys and vets, and teams that correlate for week 17. Some real upside late stabs in Will Fuller, and a rookie who maybe he'll play slot. Maybe he'll become the pass catcher too in Houston. And some high upside swings at running back with some vets, some young guys, Dalvin Cook anchor, and we're counting on Miles Sanders, at least for the start of the season, with the top O-line in the NFL the Eagles have. And, he's a threat. He ran real cold on touchdowns last year, did Sanders, and he's a threat to house the ball anytime he touches it. Just curious if we're going to see if Nico Collins got drafted, just because I think between Mechie and him, they're both drawing live to be the pass catcher too. So yeah, Nico went way expensive in this draft. So gonna let this draft finish. If you want me to take a look at your team on stream, I think I'll do that to end today. And make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Gonna try to start naming these drafts so I know when I streamed it. Stream 620. Chiefs, Broncos, and Atlanta. We can't add that many, so we can do Kansas City, then, and Atlanta, Arizona. We'll add a little plus sign there, and boom, right at the 30 character limit. Optimal team. Nice draft. Good luck. Thank you, man. That's a good squad. Thank you. Thoughts on the 9 slot? Let's take a look. The 9 slot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to Ace Parker. So, Josh Allen, love the team. Nothing more to see. No, I'm kidding. We'll take a look at the full squad. Baker, gross late quarterback, but I like the fact that you waited on it. 2 anchor running backs to start with some good offense guys. No complaints there. Could be in a timeshare. Wide receivers, you went pretty volume with some high upside swings to try to get Godwin to the playoffs. And then you got anchor running back and a good upside running back. Who cares about the bye weeks? So I like the team. How many Bills pass catchers did you get? None. So that's not ideal to take Josh Allen and none of the Bills pass catchers. But you do have this Devin Singletary, which, hey, crazier things have happened than a touchdown to him, passing touchdown to him. All right, guys. That is going to end the stream for today. Maybe I'll jump back on later tonight and do another stream. And really appreciate all of you tuning in. Really encourages me to keep this up. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.